Hey, what's up world? Jeff Lerner here. In this video, we are talking about how to learn anything, how to teach yourself stuff, how to teach it to yourself faster, how to retain it better, how to convert it into implementation and execution in your life. Basically, how to become a lifelong learner and practitioner of what you learn so that your life can be constantly getting better, because you're always just one piece of knowledge away from how to make something in your life better. So the ability to learn is the ability to grow and the ability to have more joy. That's why we're going to talk about it. All right, what's up? So we're talking about how to learn in this world. The first thing that I want to say about how to learn, and this is something that I've come by pretty honestly, a lot of people think that they have like a learning problem, that the enemy of their learning or their ability to learn has something to do with like their brain, how their brain works, their attention span. They self-diagnose, they have some condition, usually ends in a D, because it stands for some sort of disorder, whether it's ADHD, OCD, I don't know, what are some of the other ones? I don't know that. Those are usually the two that people self-diagnose with. Let's see, there's like intermittent explosive disorder, people who get really mad for no reason. There's bipolar disorder. There's BPD, borderline personality disorder. Manic depressive is now called bipolar. There's all these disorders, right? That I know about because I like to learn. I like to learn stuff. Oh, Jeff must know about those because he has all of them. I don't know, maybe. But mostly just because I like to learn about stuff. People think they have some kind of problem and they can't learn. Or I think some people at least sort of instinctively recognize that it's more of like a mindset thing. Like, well, I kind of hit a point in my life where the learning phase is over. Now I'm in the doing phase. You know, before I was in school, but now I work. So now I don't really get paid to learn. I get paid to produce or, you know, follow a process or complete a task. We think it's more like it's a phase of our life, like the learning phase is behind us. Look, it's all nonsense. You are either growing or you're dying. And in this world, you're not growing unless you're learning, right? I mean, think about it. Other than physical, like actual physical growth, which pretty much is probably topped out for most people that are watching this video, how else in this world are you growing in a positive way? I realize you can get fat without learning anything, except maybe where the cookies are. But in a positive way, how are you growing in this world in a way that doesn't involve learning? It doesn't exist. They're two sides of the same coin. You have to be learning to grow. And if you remember from like basic elementary biology, things that aren't growing are dying, literally. People get put in a bed and, you know, they move. They're not able to physically move. They're not able to create hypertrophy and have resistance and bear weight, and they physically start to die, start to decay, just because they're not able to move. And what is movement? Movement is exertion against the forces of stress in this world, right? It's exertion against gravity. It's exertion against weight. It's exertion against time. It's exertion against just like actual physics. That challenges us to grow. All growth is about learning and adaptation to stress. So these two things that people want to try to minimize in their life, which is stress and having to learn stuff, you're basically saying, I want to slowly commit suicide. I want to slowly decay, both inside and out, because I don't want to learn and I don't want stress. So reframe it that way, maybe it's probably step one, right? Oh shit, I better learn because I don't want to die. Okay, so then once you decide you want to learn, what do? Simplify your life. Most people don't have a disorder. They don't have a learning problem. They have a life problem. Their life's too chaotic. It's not about it being too stressful. You know what's stressful? Going to the gym and trying to squat some multiple of your body weight with good form for reps. What's stressful is saying, how much money did I make last year? I'm going to double it this year. So what am I going to do? That's stressful. Stress isn't a bad thing. Stress is where the growth opportunities are. Chaos, disorder, unproductive stress, anxious stress, nervous, undirected, non-focused energy. That's the kind of stuff that kills you. Most people are a simpler life away from getting a whole lot smarter really fast. Just cut out the noise. Cut out the nonsense. Cut out the riffraff. Cut out the people. I mean, think about When somebody uses the term like bookish or academic or professorial or intellectual, so what do you think? What do you think of? What comes to mind? You might think of somebody in a tweed jacket with glasses, alone in a library reading a book. You know what you don't see in that mental picture? A whole bunch of other people and a whole bunch of screens and video games and alerts and notifications and bells going off and lights and glitz. And it's like bucolic. It's simple. It's Henry David Thoreau on Walden Pond, learning his freaking ass off. Stephen King locked in his attic in, where does he live? Portland, Maine, or someplace in Maine, writing, still writes by hand. The guy's written hundreds of books. He's written probably millions of pages, still writes by hand. And he spends a lot more time reading than writing. He spends a lot more time learning, hearing what other people wrote, reading what other people wrote, than writing his own stuff. You want to be great? Be simple. I think people say, oh, LeBron James and Michael Jordan, and, you know, these athletes, and Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker's a good example. Barry Sanders is a good example. Like, you study, it doesn't matter what disciplines you're talking about. I study them all. They're simple. Their lives are very routine-based. There's a saying in therapy that when it comes to growth, structure is always your friend. Get simple if you want to learn better. The biggest problem in your mind isn't a problem in your mind. It's the distractions in your life. You will be amazed how sponge-like you become when your brain has more time to gel and to sort of settle around the new information that you just gave it, rather than going, okay, learning's done, close the book, now I'm going to the club, now I'm getting on my phone, now I'm texting my friends, now I'm snapping my friends, now I, pumping up the music. Now it's like you never gave yourself any time to assimilate. It's like going to the gym and working out and never sleeping. Your body, your mind, they need the time, they need the rest. So simplify. You'll be amazed at how much you can learn in this world. I taught myself to play professional level jazz piano in 3 years. I started playing the piano when I was 17. I had taken some lessons when I was a younger kid. But you know what I realized? And I'm not advising this, and I know that a lot of young people tune into my stuff because they know that I'm telling them truths about the world that they're growing up in that maybe they're not getting from other parts of their life. So I'm not advising this, but this is what I did. When I was 17 years old, what I experienced is basically a conversation with God. But although I'm still a God-centric person, I do accept now that it was more just like a self-realization. That basically said, Jeff, you better figure out something to do with your life that doesn't involve getting a job, because you're going to struggle to be employable. You're going to struggle to fit into somebody else's box. And frankly, at that time, I was a lot more of a, I guess, rebel, whatever, than I am now. I think I could crush a job now. You put me into most American companies now, I'll freaking show those people what's up. But I'm also so grateful that I don't have to do that. But at the time, I knew that I was just not going to fit in getting a job. So I was like, yeah, I better do something. And I said, what do I like to do? I like music. I remember I was pretty good at the piano when I was a kid. Like, I took some lessons, and they said I had a knack for it, but I was a kid. I didn't want to practice. I didn't do it. I quit doing it. 17 years old, I said, okay, I'm going to be a piano player. And I actually dropped out of high school my junior year to focus on playing the piano. I made a deal with my parents. I said, please help insulate me from the world and let me learn to do this. I accept what comes from it. I accept the life of being a musician. I know I can do this, but I need some time and space. And they helped me. They actually helped me withdraw from school and gave me some time. So there, all you traditionalist parents can go talk about how Jeff's parents were such bad parents or whatever. I think they were amazing parents for helping me do that. But anyways, they helped me get this space to learn music. And in 3 years, my life was so simple. My friends were like, where's Jeff? Where'd Jeff go? Jeff had made a decision. Jeff decided he wanted to be a world-class musician. A couple years later, it took me 6 consecutive semesters. So I was 17, dropped out of high school junior year, and I started going to the college and said, look, I don't have a high school diploma, but I'm a piano player. Can I get a scholarship and maybe an exception or something? It took me 3 years of going every semester to audition. Finally, I was able to get a scholarship, first chair. It took 2 more years after that to make first chair in the jazz ensemble, or jazz orchestra was the lead group. And I ended up being able to go to school paid for 10 years. playing jazz piano, self-taught. And people always say, how the hell did you learn that much? Like, you memorized, I did classical too. I memorized concertos and sonatas and huge pieces of music, hundreds of thousands of notes, plus thousands of jazz and pop standards that I could play in all 12 keys. How'd you learn all that, Jeff? I made my life really, really simple. And you know what? One of the reasons I stopped music, there's a few reasons I stopped it, but one of them, I won't talk about all of them, but one of them is because I realized this isn't actually the thing that I'm naturally the best at. There's other things I could do that I think I would be better at. Like, I wasn't that good at music because I was just that gifted at music. I was that good at music that quickly, good enough to play at a professional level and be exposed to some things that I do think set me on the path for my life, because I made my life insanely simple. Simple to the point where it looked very weird to a lot of people. Why doesn't Jeff have friends anymore? I have friends. My friends were fellow musicians that I was learning from. Practiced 8 to 12 hours a day. That's one of the reasons I ended up having to stop. I actually played so much from the time I was 17 to the time I was 28. I played so much I started to get arthritis in my wrist. And I realized, I said I wasn't going to talk about all of them. I'll just touch on them. Basically, a few things. One, I'm very unlikely ever going to be able to make enough money doing this to where I'll have the resources to have the impact in the world that I want to have. I'm doing something that has a point of diminishing physical returns. I'm starting to get arthritis in my wrist, and as it just gets worse and worse, potentially my body could become the enemy of what I'm trying to do or what I'm doing for my life. And also, again, I don't think it's what I'm naturally most gifted at and what I was put on this earth to do. And one of the reasons that happened is because during the time I was a musician, and I'll talk more about this in some different videos, but during the time I was a musician, I was fortunate to get in with this one agency that booked a lot of really high-end society parties around Houston. And I got to play the piano in the homes of multimillionaires and billionaires, CEOs. In fact, Houston's 3 major professional sports teams, the Astros, baseball, the Rockets, basketball, and the Texans, football. I played in the homes at private parties of the owners of all 3 of those teams. The Cranes, Jim Crane, who owns the Astros, I played his private Christmas party like 3 years in a row, I think. They would request to have me back. They said it wasn't because he's the best piano player in town. It was because he said he's nice, he shows up on time, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't take too long of breaks, and he charms the guests. And the reason I would quote charm the guests is because I was fascinated by rich, successful people. I wanted to know how they created these results in their life, and I would ask them questions. Anybody will like you if you get them talking about themselves, right? So anyways, all that to say, I simplified my life, and I got really, really good at something that allowed me to go deep enough into it that I could really draw the benefits out of it. Most people never go deep enough into things to really get the pulp out of them. For me, the pulp of being a musician was getting invited into the homes of billionaires and getting to have casual conversations with them. Years later, struggling, and I was on the internet looking at how can I make money. I tried starting businesses, and I lost all this money, and I was like, there's this new breed of millionaire, the internet millionaire, and there's these skills, internet marketing, digital marketing now it's called, and I could learn these skills, and I wonder, is that real? Could it be? And most of my musician friends, especially jazz musicians, I love you all, but we were kind of a cynical bunch. We're like, that's BS, that's all a scam, you can't believe that stuff. Yeah, but I knew it was possible, I knew it was out there. Because most of my jazz musician friends, they weren't getting invited into the homes of the billionaires. The good ones were. There were some real professionals, guys that were also, they spent their day as adjunct professors at the university and their nights playing really high-end society parties and making good money. Like, you can make a great life doing that, but, I made $40 million in the last 12 years. I wasn't going to do that playing piano. My name wasn't Billy Joel. My name wasn't Elton John. And even if my name was Billy Joel, statistically, the odds of Billy Joel being Billy Joel, it was not a smart gamble. I love that he did it, though. He adhered to one of my core personal values, that we favor possibility over probability. If you know you're meant to do something, you do it, and it doesn't matter one bit what anybody says. But I knew that wasn't my thing, right? But when I was confronted with the possibility of this new economy, these new business opportunities, the new business models that I could get involved in, I didn't have that undercutting little insidious voice in my mind going, no, that stuff's not real. People don't really have those kinds of results, because you know what? I played a gig at Bob McNair's house. Bob McNair created a technology called cogeneration. He figured out how to take some of the heat lost during the refinery process, the refining process for petroleum products, and turn it into more energy, and built a multi-billion-dollar company out of it. It was like his 5th business. He failed on the first 4. And he told me that story personally, right after I had been the first person to ever play the Houston Texans' new fight song. I led him and Jeff Fisher, the coach, and a bunch of the players in a chorus of the new Houston Texans fight song. They gave me a lead sheet like 20 seconds before they wanted to play. They said, hey, Jeff, our team composer just wrote a new fight song. We want you to play it, and we're going to lead the team in singing it. So I got to do that. And he's like, hey, you sight read that pretty good, man. I just gave you that 20 seconds before, and you just played it and whipped it right out. And I was like, yeah, well, what can I say? I simplified my life, and I was able to learn certain skills and get pretty proficient at them. Now, enough about me. Tell me how you became a billionaire, Bob. And he told me. I had my eyes opened to some incredible things. Jim Crane became a billionaire, started Siva Logistics, made billions of dollars moving stuff around on trucks. The Rockets, at the time the Rockets were owned by Les Alexander. I never played in Les Alexander's house, but I played at Tillman Fertitta's house, who now owns the Rockets. Tillman Fertitta made his money in restaurants. He's a hard-working guy, man. He was a legend around Houston. People were terrified. Oh, if you work for Tillman, you better not screw up. He sees everything. I got to see it firsthand. I got to play inside of his house. I got to play inside of his palace. It was a palace. Legit. I walked into that thing and said, whoa, there are some things that are possible in this world that most people never even understand are possible. And this guy built it from the ground up. He didn't inherit it. So I just had my eyes open to what's really possible out there. And I always had this sense early on to just focus on the opportunities to learn, opportunities to grow, opportunities to network with people that could pull me up in this world, and to simplify to a fault. I'd rather be accused of being overly simple and overly focused on the things that can move me forward than ever have somebody say, oh, that guy spreads himself too thin. That guy's always distractions and shiny objects, and he's always into this and that, but he never really digs deep into any of them, right? Anyway, next tip on how to be a good learner. This is all about time. And this goes with simplification. Look, organize your time. It's a lot easier to organize your time if you control your time. And you control your time when you eliminate clutter from your time. When you say no to all that other crap, all those distractions. Say, good is the enemy of great. I say it all the time. Good is the enemy of great. There are so many good things in this world. Poker night is a good thing. Bowling league is a good thing. Football on the Sundays can be a good thing. The social media news feed is a good thing. It's funny. I run millions of ad impressions in the Facebook news feed, and I avoid it like the plague. Even though it could be a good thing, there's good tidbits in there. But good's the enemy of great. You know what's great? My family, my business, music, reading books, and working out. Those are great things in this world. My family, my business, reading books, music, and working out. Those are great things in this world. My family, my business. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to keep doing it and looping, but that's it. That's literally how simple my life is. 5 things. Those are pretty much the only 5 things I do. I love it. I learn so much. I know some people always say, Jeff, you seem to know so many things. Yeah, because one of the 5 things is reading. And another one of the 5 things is my business. And you know what's also a part of my business? This brings us to the third key, is teaching. In my business, I get to teach. I'm going to talk more about that, but let me close up the thought on time management. Statistically, it's shown that people learn best in 30 to 50 minute increments. And that's actually why I tend to run between 20 and 30 minutes on my YouTube videos. So people have time to watch them, spend 10 or 15 minutes processing them, hopefully not get pulled away into shiny object, ADHD, distraction land, and chasing 900 things and turning on all their screens and self-destructing their brain. Hopefully they take that extra 10 or 15 minutes and journal or consider or meditate, or at least sit in silence, really try to put it to practice in their own life and process it. But that's like a 45, 50 minute block. If you watch my videos for 20 to 30 minutes and you take another 15 to 20 to process, That's a perfect learning block. It's a 50-minute chunk, right? I could make 2-minute videos. I'm gonna watch my video for 2 minutes and go process it for 1. I changed my life in 3 minutes. That's a manager schedule. Learn about makers versus managers. It's a really good article written by, what's the guy's name? The guy that started Y Combinator, Paul something. I'm blanking out right now. But anyways, he talks about this difference between maker's time and manager's time. Manager's time is all chopped up. You know who's not learning? Managers. Makers are the learners, the composers, the programmers, the theologians, the people that take long periods of time and allow themselves significant chunks that they can dedicate to specific aspects of long-form projects. And you know what the most important long-form project in your life is? It's your life. Building your awesome life is the most significant long-form project in your life. It is the long-form project of your life. And dedicating 30 to 50-minute chunks to execute a certain learning-based and processing-based task within that long-form project, that's maker style. That's not manager style. Again, Google makers versus managers. But that's why I do my YouTube videos, frankly, as long as I do. Because you got to sit with information. It's like spending time with your kids. He's like, oh, hey, son, come here. I got 47 seconds. Let's hang out. That's not quality time. Nobody's being impacted by that. It's the same thing with learning, right? So simplify your life, chunk your time properly. And then the third thing, like I said, is teach. I've been fortunate to be able to structure my life in such a way that I basically get to teach for a living. One of the reasons I know so much, one of the reasons I've learned so much, is because I teach so much. It's the most powerful vehicle there is. Because teaching forces you to put it into your own terms, put it into your own language, figure out your own stories, thought patterns around the ideas. You have to own them before you can teach them. And imagine this. I used to do webinars and video trainings where I'd say, I'm going to teach you how to write a good headline for your capture page. Or I'm going to teach you how to connect your Aweber opt-in form to your ClickFunnels landing page. Or I'm going to teach you how to register a domain with GoDaddy. I'm going to teach you how to monetize an affiliate link in your Instagram description. I'm going to all this stuff. You know what? There's a million people that teach that stuff on a place where you're seeing this called YouTube, right? You don't need Jeff Lerner to teach you that stuff. It was great. I learned a lot of those things by teaching them. But I know enough of them now that I don't need to teach them anymore. And frankly, you don't need me to learn them from. So I decided I'm going to teach something else. I'm going to teach about how to have an awesome life. I'm going to become the world's foremost authority on how to make life intensely awesome. That's a big one. That's a big course. Somebody, what are you? Oh, you're in school. That's cool. What's your major? I major in awesome. And my professor is this guy named Jeff. And his life, man, he has just made it so awesome because he's learned so much about awesome, because he teaches so much about awesome. That's crazy talk. But you know what? Most of the good ideas are. So I decided that I'm going to learn about having an awesome life, and I'm going to grow into having a more awesome life by teaching about having an awesome life. And that's a good invitation for you to subscribe to my channel so you can come on this journey with me. You know, look me up, Google me, read the testimonials, read the reviews. There's some bad ones out there. So a lot of people don't like me, think I'm an asshole, because I talk about how great life could be, and I challenge them on their excuses. Some people straight up lie. They write reviews, basically say completely inaccurate and dishonest things about me so that they can poach my traffic, because I spend a lot of money on Facebook and YouTube and Google and AdRoll and contextual advertising and the big networks, whatever. I'm not going to give away my whole ad strategy, but I spend a lot of money advertising online. People go, oh, I know what I can do. I could write about him. And then he's basically paying for my ads. So yeah, see what everybody has to say. But at the end of the day, only you know, only you get to decide. Is he full of it or is he onto something? Because he has committed to teaching about having an awesome life in a very admittedly self-interested way, because he wants to have one for himself and help others too, because you help enough people get what they want, you'll have everything you want. I believe that to my core. And if you'd like to hear more, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Click the bell so you get notified when I put out new videos. I have 5 more minutes till I hit the 3-hour mark. I am at 2,066 active calories for the day. I might be nearing the end of my road. So I'll see you on the next video. Thanks, and go be awesome. But remember, you gotta do the work.